Good morning to one and all. This is Dr. Vijay Kumar, working as an assistant professor in the Department of Mechanical Engineering from St. Peter's Engineering College, Hyderabad. Today I am going to discuss about the steam turbines problems. Before solving the problems, a revision about the previous classes. Last class we discussed what is the function of steam turbines and the classifications of steam turbines and combined velocity triangles. Construction of the how to combine the inlet and outlet velocity triangles. Actually, steam turbines function is a prime mover in which the energy available in the steam is directly utilized to rotate the turbine rotor. With the high pressure, high temperature of steam from the boiler is expanded in a fixed nozzle where the enthalpy drop is converted into kinetic energy, and the steam jet with high velocity impinges on the blades mounted on the rotor, and change in the direction of jet give rise to change in the momentum to provide torque on the rotor. And about the classification of turbines, the classification of steam turbines may be according to the action of steam. So, according to the action of steam, impulse turbine, reaction turbine, and impulse reaction turbine. And the next classification is according to the direction of steam flow. So, according to the direction of steam flow, either axial flow turbine or radial flow turbine. The main differences between the axial flow turbine and a radial flow turbine, the steam flows in a direction parallel to the axis is the axial flow turbine. Direction perpendicular to the axis of turbine is the radial flow turbine. And the next classification is according to the exhaust conditions of steam. So it may be condensing turbine or non-condensing turbine. And here condensing turbine means the steam at a pressure less than atmosphere is exhausted into the condenser. And in case of non-condensing turbine, pressure of exhaust steam is greater than the atmosphere. And next classification is according to initial conditions. Maybe low pressure turbines or medium pressure turbines or high pressure turbine. It depends upon the range of the pressure. If it is 1.2 to 2 bar is the low pressure turbine. In case of the below up to the 40 bar, it is a medium type of medium pressure turbine, or else above the 40 bar is the high pressure turbines. And next is the according to the number of stages. Here stages are, it may be single stage turbine or multi-stage turbine, means greater than one stage. And according to use, the steam turbines may be classified according to use. Either may be stationary turbines or non-stationary turbines. Here stationary turbines are used in power plants and for driving turbo blowers and pumps. And non-stationary turbines are used to drive ships and steamers, etc. Already we have discussed in the last class how to construct the combined velocity triangles for the frictionless, for considering the frictionless friction of the impulse turbine, and next reaction turbine. We have constructed the combined velocity triangle. Today I am going to discuss about the problems, how to solve the problems by using the combined velocity triangles. Let us see the one example problem. Here the velocity of steam leaving the nozzle of an impulse turbine is 1200 meter per second, and the nozzle angle is 20 degrees, and the blade velocity is 375 meter per second, and the blade velocity coefficient is 0.75. Assuming no loss due to shock at inlet, calculate for a mass flow of 0.5 kg per second. And A, blade inlet angle, driving force on the wheel, axial thrust on the wheel, and power developed by the turbine. So now blade inlet angle. So we have to find out the theta. And driving force on the wheel is nothing but tangential force. So that is M into VW1 minus VW2. And axial thrust on the wheel. So this is also formula. So for formula is the M into VF1 minus VF2. For power developed by the turbine, formula is the M into VW1 plus VW2 into U. These are the formulas. Now let us see the figure. What is the given data? He has given the leaving the nozzle of an impulse turbine is 1200 meters per second. So he has given the V1 is the 1200 meters per second, and next inlet angle is the alpha is the 20 degrees, and blade velocity is the 375 meters per second, and the blade velocity coefficient is 0.75. So that is VR2 by VR1 is equal to K equals to 0.75. And next M equals to 0.5 kg per second. And here, and it is a symmetrical bleeding, and he has given the condition symmetrical bleeding. If it is symmetrical bleeding means here theta equals to pi. If it is a symmetrical bleeding, so means inlet of the blade angle is equal to the outlet blade angle. So let us draw the combined velocity triangle. So first we have to draw the AB line, that is equal to blade velocity U, and draw a horizontal line, inclined line with angle alpha. Draw a inclined line with an angle of alpha and join AC and extend the line and draw a inclined line with a perpendicular line. So that is E. Now it is a VF1, VR1, V1. Now it is theta. So EB is the wheel velocity at inlet. Now inlet velocity triangle is completed. Now draw the inclined line with AB with an angle pi. Here theta equals to pi. Next, for drawing the outlet velocity triangle, already has given the velocity coefficient is a 0.75, and so locate the C dash, so that is 0.75. So VR2 equals to K VR1. Now first we have to calculate the VR1, and then 0.75 into VR1 is the required AC distance. The curve, first complete the velocity triangle and we can calculate. So now it is D. Join BD and draw the perpendicular line. So now it is F. So it is VR2, V2, VF2. So now it is beta. So BF is the Whirl velocity at outlet. Now we completed the construction of the combined velocity of impulse turbine. So here V1 is the 1200 meter per second, and U is the 375 meter per second, and here the theta equals to 5 because of symmetrical bleeding. He has given the symmetrical bleeding. Okay, now from the velocity diagram, now for calculating the driving force on the wheel, we require first we have to calculate the blade inlet angle theta. So theta. For calculating theta, what we require? So either we have to apply either sine or cos. So we don't know the flow velocity or whirl velocity. We know only V1, alpha and U. Now we have to calculate the theta. So from the velocity triangle, BE from velocity triangle, BE is equal to VW1. VW1 BE equals to whirl velocity at inlet is equal to V1 cos alpha. So from triangle CEB, cos alpha equals to VW1 by V1. So we require the VW1. So V1 into cos alpha. So here V1 is the 1200 meter per second into cos 20. The value is the 1128 meter per second. Now we calculated the whirl velocity at inlet. Now we can calculate the flow velocity. So how we are calculating the flow velocity? From internal inlet velocity CEB, from CEB we can apply sin alpha equals to VF1 by V1. Sin alpha equals to VF1 by V1. So CE we required VF1 is equal to V1 sin alpha. So after some calculation 410.4 meter per second. Now we can calculate theta. What is the theta value? From theta, VF1 means CE by EA distance. Here what is the EA distance? Here EA distance is the VW1 minus U. So directly we can apply the tan theta. So theta equals to tan inverse VF1 by VW1 minus U. So after simplification, it is a 0.5450, or in terms of degrees, it is 28.6 degrees. Say it is 29 degrees. Now we calculated the theta value. Here theta equals to 29 degrees, then pi also 29 degrees. Why? Because it is a symmetrical blading. The inlet blade angle is equal to the outlet blade angle. Then now next, what you required? We require the relative velocity at inlet. For calculating the relative velocity at inlet, we can calculate the sin theta equals to Vf1 by Vr1. So we required Ca equal to Vr1 is equal to Vf1 by sin theta. So Ca is equal to relative velocity at inlet is equal to Vf1 by sin theta. Triangle CEA, sin theta equals to Vf1 by Vr1. So already we know the theta value, so that is 29 degrees. Then substitute the corresponding values and find out the 856.5 meter per second. So similarly, Vr2. Already we know the pi value. Already we know the coefficient, velocity coefficient. So that is Vr2 equals to 0.75 into Vr1. So that is Vr2 equals to 642.4 meter per second. Next, what we require? Already we calculated the from inlet velocity triangle VW1, VF1. Now we have to calculate the VW2 and VF2. Already we calculated the VR2. Already we know the pi value. So from triangle outlet velocity triangle DAF, we can calculate the DF. DF equals to VF2 is equal to VR2 sin pi. From triangle DAF, VF2 is equal to, so sin pi equals to VF2 by VR2. So VF2 equals to VR2 sin pi. So that is 307.5 meter per second. And next, what we required? We required VW2 at virtual velocity at outlet. Now we are from triangle DAF. From triangle DAF, cos pi equals to AF by AD. AF by AD. What is the AF distance? AF distance is a U plus VW2. AF distance is a U plus VW2. So that is So we require calculating the BF. So that is VW2. Or else we require cos alpha equals to AF by AD. So here AF is the U plus VW2 divided by VR2. So for the simplification, VW2 equals to VR2 cos alpha minus U. So what is the value? 189 meter per second. Now, now we have calculated the inlet velocity, Whirl velocity at 1, Whirl velocity at 2, and flow velocity at 1, flow velocity at 2. Now what we require, we have to calculate the blade first one. Blade inlet angle. Already we calculated. Blade inlet angle is the theta equals to 29 degrees. So our and second one is the driving force on the wheel. So driving force on the wheel is nothing but f of x tangential force act on the rotor. So that is m equals to VW1 plus VW2. So that is equal to m is already as given 0.5 kg per second. So that is 0.5 into 410 minus 310. So that is equal to 50 newtons. VW1 is the, it is VW